So some of you may know that very recently a woman by the name of Regina McKnight was released from prison. Regina McKnight was a person, in fact, the first woman in the country to be prosecuted and convicted of giving birth to a stillborn baby. McKnight had no prior convictions, but her drug use during pregnancy violated a recently enacted South Carolina law. The statute was enforced almost as a strict liability rule. Prosecutors actually never proved that McKnight's drug use actually caused the miscarriage. The state simply showed that there was one dead baby. If the state's interest was in protecting babies from being born dead, surely there were many other babies to rescue and mothers to convict. But the state's zeal to incarcerate Ms. McKnight evinces other motives. For example, the state continued to pursue the prosecution despite the fact that miscarriages and stillbirths are caused by any number of factors ranging from assisted reproduction, we talked about today, and alcohol abuse to obesity and secondhand smoke. Recent studies, in fact, demonstrate that even a father's age influences whether a baby might be born alive or dead. According to a study published by the Archives of General Psychiatry, increased paternal age is also linked to autism and other disabilities. Recent high-tech, high-publicity births, including that of Nadia Suleman, but also prior to Suleman, Brianna Morrison and her sextuplets from last year raised an interesting point of comparison to the womb policing taking place in states across the country. In June of it was 2007, not 2008, excuse me, Morrison gave birth to 6 babies after using fertility drugs. These drugs helped to stimulate her ovaries and had been linked previously to risky multiple births. When it became clear during the gestation that the fetuses were at serious risk, Morrison's doctors encouraged her to selectively reduce. However, as happens in so many of these cases, she and her husband refused, saying that her babies were a gift from God and that they were not going to be involved in any such practice as selective reduction. Each baby, however, was in critical condition after birth, subject to a battery of medical tests, treatments, and living with the aid of respirators and feeding tubes. 6 weeks after their births, all but one had died. For Miss Morrison, there were prayers, interviews, blogs devoted to every update on her children's health, websites where there could be donations given, just like in Nadia Suleman's case and just like in so many of the other kinds of births that we might compare to litters almost. But for Miss McKnight, there was only the 20-year prison sentence that was handed down by the South Carolina Supreme Court. Now, are these women so different? Didn't they both take risks, knowing that their fetuses might be affected by their behaviors, specifically the drugs that they used? Playing in the backdrop of McKnight's prosecution was another danger to the unborn that sort of slipped underneath the radar, and that is within the context of assisted reproductive technology.